Right, in Matt's absence, I thought I'd put that in. So we can say he's here in presence. Right, so despite the hair and profanity, I am indeed not MST. So, December 2009, as Marcus said, we got together for North West England Pearlmongers' first ever hack day. And there was Pearl beer, pizza, and more Pearl apparently later in the day. I'm not quite sure about that bit. It was a good day. And we came up with this architecture. And basically, that's the architecture that we've been working towards now. Taking the Perlinet stuff written by Dave Cross to do data collection and turn that into something that we could use for collecting the feeds to eventually replace Pyga. So what we produced as a result of that one day was patches for Perlinet, which were quite far-reaching, I think, and those were submitted to the Perlinet developers. We improved the database abstraction for Ironman, and we ended up with. Hang on, that's wrong. I wrote this on the train on the way down. Okay.
Matt's fault.
It's all Matt's fault. Yeah. We created a Perlinet database abstraction for Ironman. Sorry, which is called Perlinet Ironman, which we're thinking can probably be a fairly good abstraction for Perlinet DB, so we can actually create a database abstraction layer for Perlinet, which we can then extend onto being Ironman. So that's something that we'll probably do in the next few months or something. The Ironman schema, which is currently in use by Plagger and the existing front end, we've made some improvements to that to include some bug fixes and various other bits and pieces and just general improvements. And we had a new web UI called, well, under the project name of Ironman Web. And we also ended up with a pile of empty pizza boxes and beer cans, which was probably the fun bit, as Mark said. So, what happened to our improvements? Perlinet patches are now in the distribution, so all that hard work that was put in by the people who did that all went in. Ironman schema is now up on CPAM, complete with a load of tests, and that went up earlier in the week. On top of that, we not only contributed to other people's projects, we created our own. So Perlinet Ironman is mostly there. There's some tests to add. Is now collecting feeds hourly from cronjob and is very near a release on CPAM. And at the point that we've sorted the tests out and just tweaked around the edges, that will go up on CPAM and anybody can use that wants to. Ironman Web is now live at ironboy.unlightedpearl.org. It has been for some time, but there have been some tweaks in the last few days that have fixed a few issues here and there. Including some interesting SQLite issues, which we won't go into. There's some testing left to add on that, and again, that's nearing a release on CPAM. And all this was in our first year as a Pearlmongers group. I think we've done bloody well. Well done, everybody. So, what next? It needs to become ironman.unlightedpearl.org, and we need to move away from the existing legacy solution, so that we can have something we can maintain and take forward. We've already had feature requests. Mark was telling me about his view for calendar. Sorry, his what's the word I'm looking for?
Calendar. Navigation.
No, brain's gone. Calendar view for posts. Somebody else has said, wouldn't it be ace if I could exclude all these other languages because I'm not really interested in stuff I can't read? Somebody else said, wouldn't it be great if there was an instant translate button on these articles that are in another language so that I can read other people's posts that are in a different language? Interesting. We're not quite sure how we're going to do that, but Mark's already mentioned tags matching so that we can actually do some interesting things with how many people are posting about Catalyst, how many people are posting about whatever. There's some data sanitization to do. We have lots of Viagra. Lots and lots of Viagra in the feed. The feed does not have problems. Well, they're manually subscribed, so people subscribe. People who join the Iron Man project subscribe to have their feed pulled. So that's, yeah, so it's Atom and RSS feeds are pulled by that. And we've got a lot of defunct feeds and post URLs that just basically need cleaning out. And finally, we want to move to all things Perly, so that we can actually have archives of all the various Perl blogs that are out there, not only Iron Man. And that's an eventual view. So, I believe the phrase is well volunteered. So if anybody wants to help out and get involved with those bits and pieces, there is stuff left to do, as you can see. So come talk to me.